going live already. And I didn't set up anything. So, here we are. Let's see if we can figure this thing out. Kind of a new setup, kind of not. Lights, stuff like that. All right. So, I don't know if anyone's here, probably not. But I think we're set up. Maybe, kind of. Maybe you can hear that? Nope, no one here yet, so that's always nice. But when you show up, drop a comment so I know you're here, whatever. And also if the sound is good, because it's a new microphone. After, I don't know, I started in 2 Octobers ago, so whatever that is, a year and a half, and I finally have a tripod. So that's always kind of good, I guess. Hopefully that sounds okay. Yeah. Right? It always overloads. I can't really tell when it goes live because it's just a live recording going straight into it. But I'm trying to think, what was the last video that we did? I don't really remember. But I would like to go over, oh, I remember what it was. It was the triad thing. Going through every other note and stuff like that. Can't even see the comments or whatever. But yeah, what I would like to do, in keeping with that, is do it on the A string instead of the E string. Because on the E, oops, we have real estate of all 4 strings. So we'd only have to shift one time. But if we move that up, say we start on D, on the A string, like 5th fret. Oops. Right there we have to shift already. And we kind of have to walk up all the way. Because there's no more room to move it all the way up the octaves. So in order to do that, it's still every other note of a major scale. Right? And then we just keep going. So we go 1, 3, 5 scale degrees, 2, 4, 6, 3, 5, 7, 4, 6, 8. And then we keep going. So with one finger, and I'll make a video for this after to make it a little more brief. But this day is on forever, so you can always go back and look on a longer format. And then a minor third triad. That's the interval of a minor third. Ooh. I'm fucking this thing up left and right. Whatever I just did, don't pay attention to. I'll make an actual video for it. It's hard to do with one finger because you never play it like that and talk. There we go. So if you need to rewind that, that was actually accurate. And then all the way back. Ugh. Jesus. Today's definitely not my day. Whatever. So, working with those triads, and then starting on the A string, you really kind of open, not just as a hand exercise, but you open the idea to moving around the entire neck. Because how many times, if you could play this, then playing, especially like ska or any of that harder, whatever, I don't know if it's harder, but stuff that sounds impressive to people that don't play it, all of a sudden it's really easy. Like, that's all because it's just a triad going over and over again. And then you can slow it down and play more chordal stuff. Even though these are just intervals, if you drone the A string right there, because that's the octave, open A, and then you can voice everything. And there goes my amp. Today's going great. I don't think this is going to stay on for much longer. I have to bring this in. I don't know what's going on with this thing, but it's a real pain in the ass. because it'll just shut off like that. So I definitely need to take this into a shop. Real-time problems, huh? Let's see. What a fucking nightmare that is. Did one person actually see that? There's one person here. Yeah, Aguilar. Shit in the bed. Really good company, too. Someone wrote something and I can't see it. Hi. Hey, what's up, Anthony? I have the microphone at the bottom, so I can't really see right away. But yeah, if you missed it, the amp keeps turning on and off, which is not very good. So I gotta bring that in. I don't know why, otherwise I'd fix it. I don't really mess with stuff like that. There's the way I look at it, there's musicians and then there's techs and stuff like that, and I'd rather go through someone that really knows what they're doing than me farting around with it. I'll do basic shit like setting up bass or like intonation, but when it comes to why the amp turns off randomly, I'm definitely bringing that in for somebody. What is this saying? How you doing? I'm doing good. Thanks for the vids, man. Have a great stream and day. Same to you. What does that one say? I have to do something about this microphone because I have to like keep looking over. Maybe if I get closer, I could see it. Let's see. Yeah, it's actually a lot better. My ugly mug even closer. But yeah, what was I doing at the beginning? Triads, starting on the A string, because the last video I did was, to recap, but no one was here when I was talking about it. Like, that's all good and well when you have the real estate to do it. And by real estate, I mean you have all 4 strings. But if you're starting on the A string and you want to ascend the same idea, you're going to run out of real estate. Like, right? There's no other string, so you have to run your hand all the way up. So it would be... And this is where 5 strings and 6 strings come in, and they're a huge help. What's your advice on how to improve your pitch? My pit, like singing wise, I'm a fucking horrible singer. But if you're gonna pitch on a bass, just get your bass in tune. That would be how to improve your pitch on a bass. Singing, find a note and then try to drone with that note and play with it that way. But I'm not really fucking good at singing, if you just heard that. So, wrong channel for if it's a vocal pitch. I don't know. Maybe sing things out as you're playing it. Like, I work on it, but I'm still way too shy to put it out there on the internet of me singing. So, not yet. Maybe one day. But yeah, not today, that's for sure. But bass pitch, just make sure you're in tune. I use this thing. I don't get paid by him or anything. It's a failsafe. Korg GA-2, guitar bass tuner. Battery lasts forever. It works fucking great. And that's it. Or I just tune by ear too. But to get it right on, like the first time, put it through that thing. Granted, I didn't use it before I went live, so it's in tune. But I don't know if it's actually like spot on with the open strings. So that's how I would do it. What are we saying here? Awesome. How about locking with drummer better? Locking with the drummer, play with a metronome. There's if you go on my page, if you type in, not even my page, if you type in 1 minute bass amen break, it's a loop of the amen break. It's a blast beat. Well, it's not a blast beat. That's not true. It's the first hip hop beat. Kind of, you could argue that it invented hip hop, if hip hop was music, not just culture. But long story short, play to that, and what you do is you, every time there's a kick, hit the down. Or James Brown songs, always land on the 1 if you're gonna practice. And then what you could do is come in and out after. If you're asking me that question, just land on the 1 every time. As you get better at it, you can jump the beat or lay behind the beat. Like, if I were to play, right on the grid, or I could lay it back, same tempo. Kind of lagging, or you could jump. But you need a drummer to really mess with it. It's hard to do just on the fly. Yeah, that was the last thing somebody wrote. But yeah, playing with the amen break, it's like every hip hop song's used it. I forget exactly who made it, but in that video I go over it. But play to the amen break because it's better than just a metronome, in my opinion. You're playing with an actual drummer, whether it's sampled from an actual drummer. So, you know, not like you have a drummer in the room with you, which is the best way of doing it. But always try to tight in with the kick and the snare. That kind of stuff, like. Just moving around with doom bop, doom bop, that type of idea. If that's what they're playing, then. Just kind of improv it over that, and it doesn't have to be that complicated. It could just be. Just using 3 and 5 the whole time, pentatonics and all that stuff. So that would be my advice. I hope that helps. I'll do a video on that, locking with the drummer, but I'll have to have an actual playing along to beat or the amen break or something like that. But yeah, that's a great question because a lot of people talk about that and they don't actually do it. What does that say? I thought you were going to play poly. I don't know what poly is. Maybe I should know. I don't know. Camera angle's weird. I look fucking. Ooh, look at me go. Hey, I was wondering if 1 centimeter of space between the strings and fretboard is high action. 1 centimeter? I don't think that's high action. I don't know. I've never used the rule. I was saying at the beginning of this, like when my amp was turning off, I set things up how I like them, but I just put them back to the way that they were. I usually pay people to do that shit because they're experts at it. If you have people in your area that are experts, not people that just say they are. Like for me, I use a place called the Bass Place. It's the greatest, the best dude, like legit shit. They're out in Peoria, in Arizona. But there's usually a local place. I'm just really lucky and fortunate that they're out here, right near me. What's the correct number of basses to own? The correct number to basses to own is different for everyone because everyone has different money. Like, if you can only afford 1 bass, you should not have more than 1 bass. That's just how it goes. Don't go hungry because you bought a fucking bass. It's insane. Pay your bills, and if you have extra, buy a bass. And even then, don't buy 2 of the same things. Like I see people with, well, I'm not gonna tell anybody what to do. Do whatever you want. But for me, I'm not buying 2 of the same bass in different colors. They're gonna be different. Firstly, it'll be strings, then it'll be active, passive, then it'll be if the pickups are the same or whatever. I have 2 P basses. One is a PJ combo, one is a just straight up P bass. The other one has the bridge one. That's the closest that basses are, but outside of that, 5-string, 4-string, all that stuff. Thank you. Yeah, play Cannibal Corpse. I don't know it off the top of my head. Not a jukebox. Sometimes I am. Not if I don't know it. If I can't hum it, I can't play it. And Cannibal Corpse, I can't hum right now. I don't think well, you could always hum it. It's very chromatic. I know that. Yeah, I don't know. Hammer Smash Face, I used to be able to. I mean, I'm still able to play it, but I don't remember it. I could do a video for that one, though. I'll just relearn it. That's not a problem. Also, if you want to hear or see videos, like lessons, commenting them in here is cool. But I like to think I remember them, and I don't. So if you commented on an actual video, like if you just click play video and comment whatever you want me to do, I'll be able to see that, and I could look back on it way more often. These things disappear unless I rewatch the entire live video, which I'm not going to do because I don't want to see myself. But if you comment on a video, I get a notification, and I read all that shit. So then I could actually do it a lot easier. Fugazi? I could do Fugazi off the top of my head. That's in B, I think. That's a weird micro shift that I do on that one, too, by the way. Because normally, you just use your, you just go back and forth with your ring. Right? But I go down with my middle finger. just preference, because I could hold this out as long as possible and then hit this one. There's no nanosecond difference. Does it matter? I don't think so. But I do shit like that in all aspects of my playing, so I think collectively it gives a style. I don't know if that makes sense. Or maybe I just like doing it that way. So that's how I creep down over here, as opposed to... Like, I don't like that movement. I try to do as much minimal movement as possible, because slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Not that I have to shred this thing, but it's a really good habit to get into. Maybe call it economy playing or whatever, but I do it all the time. Like, instead of even higher stuff, whether it's hammering on or pulling off or whatever. But yeah, Fugazi, that's a bass line that I use a weird, I'm not weird, but very subtle technique that lets it go out to there. I don't know if I know any other off the top of my head Fugazi bass lines. Like, that's not even Fugazi. That's me listening to Fugazi and writing something a couple nights ago. What was it? That's it. Back to it or something like that. That's another one to get into. Listen to bands you like and then write in the style of that. You can call it a ripoff or whatever, but I don't think that sounds like anything else. That tritone thing, the reason I came up with that, I actually was watching Mrs. Doubtfire. The score for some reason sounds like that to me. I don't know why, just the scene. And I started fucking around, and then there you go. So you get that. And then because here, that's the octave to D. So then you just play that way. Whatever you need to do. Because it is. All the way around. Anyway, a little insight into writing. It comes from Mrs. Doubtfire, that one. Poly by Nirvana. Oh, yeah. Oh, everyone's here. Left inverted camera. I don't know how to make it go the other way. Wow, I missed all of these. I was wondering if 1 centimeter space between the strings of fretboard is high action. Oh, that's from a while ago. Turnover is a pretty line by Fugazi. Yeah, all of their bass lines are really good. They're like, I've never heard a bad Fugazi bass line. Like, you know it's Fugazi immediately from hearing the bass line. Same thing with like Violent Femmes. Like, I don't even remember how to play it. Blisters in the Sun, something like that. That's also sticks out because he's playing a acoustic bass. It's electrified, I think, but it's not an upright. It's just a real acoustic with a pick. It's got a definite unique sound to it, which I'm a big fan of too. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with these comments. They just like flood in and then they disappear on me. So not really sure. But yeah, I did see one. I'm not lefty. Just hence like the hat too. It's backwards. I don't know how to switch it on a live stream. When I do the actual videos, it's the other way around. And I think if I put my phone upside down, it doesn't really do much either way. Interesting acoustic bass. I have an acoustic bass too. They sound pretty cool as I stare at it across the room. I'm a big fan of them. Definitely, it's crazy to make that your entire sound for your band. I don't know about crazy, but it stands out. You're locked into a certain, that's your tone, that's your sound when you're playing an acoustic bass like that. But that's with a lot of basses, and the more you play, more so with engineers and producers, the more that they record, the more they're experienced. That's why they all prefer P basses, because they know how to mix it. They know, because just playing a solo bass, it'll sound great, but how it sounds in a mix is a total different animal. So not just an acoustic bass, but playing an actual P bass, just a standard passive P bass, no J pickup, none of that shit. Engineers or producers will see that shit and they'll love it. So they'll sometimes even tell you to change, like, or they'll have a P bass there for you to play with. If you go and like deep dive all your favorite recordings and all that stuff, if you could find out what gear they recorded with, almost all the time there's a P bass involved into it. And that's the reason. The engineer or the producer, mixer, whatever you want to call them, they know how to put that shit in the mix. They're really good at it because it's such a consistent sound, and it's been the go-to bass since it was invented on the mainstream in, was it 1951? It's not that old of an instrument. Like, it grew with the technology of the recording industry. It's fucking crazy when you really break down the history of it. As I'm grabbing the mic and stuff like that to see if there's any new comments, which there's not. But yeah, I don't know if I should. I don't really do history stuff on this channel. I'll chat about all that's why I do the live streams though, because there's only so much stuff I can put in like 1 to 3 minute videos or whatever. The next ones I'm gonna do. The last one I did was a music theory like hand exercise. I think I'm gonna start doing more of those. I know it didn't like get hits or whatever. I don't know. I follow it enough to know it didn't do that. But I know it's super applicable for people because it takes the stigma out of music theory, off the paper onto your fingertips and the bass. Like, every other note is just a triad. Like that whole pulling teeth thing. Minor triad, 1 flat 3 perfect 5th, which is a power chord. You're just spelling it out. And then major. When you realize that's all it is, it takes away a lot of the, oh shit, that's so hard, I'll never figure it out. It's a fucking minor triad and a major triad. Not belittling it, but that's all it is. It's nothing crazy. Sir, play Red Hot Chili Peppers songs. I know that one, he doesn't slap that. It's just heavy with your fingers. I think it's up to 12. Yeah, right? I think. I don't really listen to the Chili Peppers. I know, it's sacrilegious, but I play what I listen to. I used to know how to play something like that, Californication. My Own Summer I know. You gotta drop down a D for that. My Own Summer uses, speaking of music theory, a technique called pedaling. So you come back to the same note in between the other notes. Classical does it like... That being the D right there on 12 is the pedal note. For that, My Own Summer, it's the open D. Lots of metal bands do it, or heavier bands if you don't want to call Deftones a metal band. I swear they're a new metal band, but I'll die on that hill. But even Tool, like... That whole thing is pedaling in between. So yeah, using those opens and pedal notes are huge in modern music, and it all comes back from it's called a pedal because they would hit the pedal on the organ and kind of drone it out so you could hear it that way, like. That whole time they were pedaling G, which was the root note of it. But yeah, just nerd stuff that still applies fully. Then play some Nirvana. It's fucking jukebox over here. Nirvana is, not Inspector Gadget, but it's close. I say it's close because it's the same hand position for me. I don't know. To me, it's the same because it's motor skills are very similar for those two. Oddly enough, favorite bass that I own is the F bass. This is this one. it's a dream bass of mine. It's the only custom bass I have. It's the only one I ever will have. It's by far the best. If I would sell all of these to get one of those, if I knew then what I know now. But yeah, F bass by far. Not even a question. Not paid by any of these people. They don't even have anyone that pays to endorse their shit. Even that big channel like Scott's Bass Lessons, SBL, he has to pay like everybody else, and he has to wait 18 months to get his bass. They don't mess around. Marcel is over there with F bass. He's really cool. And yeah, I highly recommend them. If you have the means of doing it. If you don't have the means of doing it, don't fucking buy it. Don't go into debt over that. Wow, so skillful. Somewhat. Can you explain how a 7/12 polyrhythm works? Yeah, 7/12, you count to 3 and then you count to 4. But anytime there's, well, I don't know about polyrhythm. Polyrhythms are 2 different rhythms going on at the same time. Odd meter is when you're not playing in like 4/4 or whatever. So polyrhythm, one person's playing in 7 and the other person's playing in 12, and they're playing at the same time. And it's like, okay, so in regular life, if you put your turn signal on at the a fucking traffic light or whatever, and say it's one of those yellow arrows that's blinking to turn left, or what, at the actual light itself has one of those like yield ones, your signal, your turn signal, and the light that's blinking will eventually sync up every so often on certain hits. That's how polyrhythm works. Every so often they'll hit the right note, and you could really dork out and figure out when they actually sync up, and that's how you write and all that stuff. And that's where you get into like math metal and all that. But a polyrhythm is people playing 2 totally different rhythms, the same tempo, typically the same tempo, and they line up every so often, and that's where you get your groove and your rhythm, and you can bop your head to it and all that stuff. Advice to get better at bass: watch my channel. Just binge the videos for it. This one is the best one for a hand exercise. You don't even need your bass. It's the video on my the first one that pops up on the homepage, Holy Grail exercises. These 2 down, use your thumb to hold it, and then switch. And what you're working on is finger independence between your brain and your fingers. And then you take away your thumb when you're able to do that, and you extend it all the way, so you're not like this or whatever, all the way up. And that's for your fretting hand. And the point of that is when you want your fingers to go somewhere, you already have the motor skills for it. Like swinging with a bat with a donut on it or something like that. Or like hockey, you pick the corners of the net. And like any athletic thing, you practice it that way. And before you know it, your fingers will just follow with what your brain is telling it to do. Yeah, that's by far and away my favorite one to tell people how to unlock stuff. Polyrhythm thing again? Yeah, of course. Can you play the clit as good as guitar? Yes, I actually can. Solid question. Solid answer. One of the many reasons to not use a pick. But everyone should use a pick too, though. Aside, clit jokes aside. Well, none of that was a joke. That's all actually factual. But yeah, you should be able to use, and I don't use a pick nearly enough. Do I have one? I think I do. Hold on. Like, you should be able to play everything with your fingers as well as on a pick. Because back to like I was talking about recording before, sometimes they're just going to say, hey, play it with a pick. And it's a lot harder for me to play with a pick than it is my fingers. Because I have so much more like experience doing it that way. Do what again? Can you play it? Do that again? I don't know what I did. Do you know the guitarist? I do know the guitarist Buckethead. Not personally. Oh my. I like Buckethead. Aren't there rumors about who he is? I remember that was like a huge thing of unmasking or unbucketing Buckethead. People were saying it was like Satriani or something like that. I don't know. This is a long time ago. He's been around forever. Do that again, fingers. Yes. Is he Satriani? Is that what we're talking about? That'd be insane if that was actually Satriani. I don't know. That's insane. It would make sense. He's really good. But yeah, I don't know who Buckethead is. I'm sure by now the internet's figured it out. If you go look it up or whatever. So. But yeah. Back to playing with a pick. What I would do with that is I run modes. Like ascend, descend, Right? As a practice routine. Doing that with a pick, watch how fucking terrible I am at it. Like comparatively. Oof. My point is, I need to practice that, and I should be practicing it as much as I do with my fingers. And just stretching it across. It's fucking terrible. But you're not supposed to sound good when you practice, by the way. If you sound good when you're practicing, you're kind of just feeding your ego. I do it all the time too, so don't feel guilty about it, but just know that's what you're doing. And yeah, so I should be playing with a pick for like the next week, just that. But probably won't, because I make a channel, and knowing what to do and actually doing it are two totally different things, and I'm not above escaping that. He used to play in GNR. Buckethead used to. That makes sense. Only 4 years. Pulling Teeth by Metallica is an awesome song, bro. Yeah, it is. Is that because you're accustomed to playing without a pick? Yeah, exactly. I'm very accustomed to playing without a pick. Because I've spent years. This is a great example of how, not just bad habits, but habits make time fly. If you don't play with a pick, time's gonna start passing anyway. And all of a sudden, you've been playing bass for over 30 years, and you have well over 10,000 hours of playing bass. Nowhere near 10,000 hours of playing with a pick. So that's where consistency comes in. A perfect example of it. 30 years of playing, and I can't get through the modes using a pick. It's fucking pretty embarrassing, actually. But the cool part is that there's no better time to start than like right now. And I know if I play with a pick for a week straight, like actively playing, knowing what I know now, I'll pick it up faster than if I were to start out with it. So I could, level the playing field with it. But yeah, that's kind of a life lesson too. Just start now and keep at it. Otherwise, you're never gonna get it right, and years will go by and you're not fucking anywhere. My Name Is Mud is such a good song. I have to relearn how to play that. Who's saying sorry? Is that because you're accustomed? Why? Don't say sorry. My Name Is Mud is so good. I don't even vaguely remember. I don't remember. I don't fucking, not even close. I don't know. I'll figure that out after this. That'll be my, what I learned this week. And I'll make a video for that one. If I can even play right. It's really hard to talk and do this stuff, by the way. At least for me. Please play Jungle Boogie by Kool and the Gang. First and third fret, I'm pretty sure. Something like that. Like, it's not that we're not capable of doing it. Just fucking don't know how to do it yet. Jungle Boogie, I only know the horn. I can only hum the horn line. Something with a minor pentatonic, right? Is it? That's just a blues scale, Jungle Boogie, right? Because a blues scale is, I think Jungle Boogie, he just walks the blues scale. Right? I could be wrong, but it sounds weirdly similar to it. Close enough. Yeah. Can you do... Sorry, I keep looking over this microphone thing. I gotta take this thing off of it. Wake Up by Rage? Which one is Wake Up? Is that it? Boom, 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 boom. Something like that? I don't remember it. All those Rage songs are all pentatonic scales. Every single one of them. Like... I know that's not Wake Up. That's Know Your Enemy. But every single one of them is pretty similar. But I don't remember how to play. I don't remember how that song goes. Wake Up. Off the top of my head, I can't. The title and the song, I don't know it. My Michelle is a good one. That's another blues pen. Right? That's the whole scale. Just walking down. The reason that sounds so cool is that's called a tritone. That right there. It doesn't explicitly play it, but it's used as a passing tone. That right there. It just sounds cool. It's one of my favorite ones too. It starts on the 4th fret. Which one starts? Oh, My Michelle starts on the 4th fret. There, I guess. Using the opens. Yeah, that makes more sense. And then I think it changes key in the chorus, right? Something like that. I don't know. It's been a long time since I played that stuff. AFI is a really good cover of that too. Said hi. Hi. Starts on the 4th fret. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. What else? Yeah, My Michelle is a really good one. That's all. What's his name? Duff Mc... Whatever his last name is. McKeegan? I don't know. I always butcher people's names. But yeah, I don't have too much more. It's already been like half hour. What are people saying? Weird request, but can you try to play the Smells Like Teen Spirit guitar solo? Yeah, I could do that. I'm gonna forget that, by the way. Jad Hayad. I'm terrible at names. Write that in a comment, because I don't want to forget that. Write the Teen Spirit guitar solo in any one of my videos. Comment that, and I'll be able to see it, because this shit goes away, and I like to think that I will remember it, and I don't. And I don't have a pen near me to write it down. So comment that, please, because then I'll be able to do it. Any requests, just comment them in any video, and I'll be able to do it. Top 1 most listened to song last year on Spotify. It's a good top 1 listens. Can you play the Money for Nothing riff? I've never tried it. Put that one in a comment too. I would love to make a video for that one, but I have to remember it, and I have ADD, so yeah, comment. That would be a good one to do. I think it's Dire Straits, right? Will do. Hell yeah. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get going. A lot of people today. It's pretty cool. So it's been a pleasure, as always. Hopefully, I didn't hear anyone saying that they couldn't hear this stuff, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I also think that when I go live, after like 10 minutes, more people start showing up. So the next time I go, today or tomorrow, the next day, comment when you get in here. This way I know people are here. And then I never have anything to talk about. So I just kind of ramble, and you guys help a ton. What's my favorite song to play on bass? I'm not left-handed, it's just alternating. And I gotta get going. But my favorite song to play on the bass changes all the time. My favorite song right now is stuff that I've been writing. Like this kind of jazz riff of something like that I'm going with. But that's currently my favorite. With that, I'm going to get going. Are you blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Mwah. Thank you all very much. See you later. And, yeah, happy shredding. That was the mumbling words at the end. Bye.